that somewhat. 83% in favor of LG, just 17% for the US roster of Tectonic. But overall, are you a fan of that? Do you think that maybe, you know, some people are saying Luminosity's odds are swayed because of the brand and such? Or?
Well, we've already seen some pretty hefty odds. Like yesterday, for example, Prospects, it was said they'd win. They did win, but nowhere near in the sort of fashion that was expected. It was very, very close sort of matches against Blight. So I do think odds have been swayed, especially by the fact that it's a Luminosity brand. You see that name, you think of high-quality team. So, of course, I'm still hoping that they will have those sort of odds. I'm hoping that they'll show us how exactly they play, but you never actually know at this stage. Either way, going into the pistol round, you can see the utility, or what's left of it, against the Phantom, but we are going to see the first duel, and it will be Wrath pushing aggressively. Yell is going to get the first, but continues the push, and actually gets taken down, was very low on HP. The remaining players, though, are going towards that B side. It's going to be Gwyn up close and personal, doing the damage with Nom, and that name is just horrific. Nom Tombot. Either way, Destiny shuts things down, and that's going to be the first round on the board for the Brazilian team.
Really nice wait for that one to roll. I do want to make the kind of breach the subject in regards to the name. I believe that might be Imp.
What? Yeah, because we got...
I have a feeling non-Tombot is Imp still.
Nom Tombot. Lovely. Yeah, so that's Impster, which isn't really that much better, to be honest.
Oh, fair enough.
My name's terrible.
Names
so
and branding aside, we are going to be going into that second round, the money-making round for Luminosity, if they look to repeat similar success. They've got the auto shotty in play on that. Certainly an interesting decision, but you know, we all know we have a certain fan of the shotguns in the studio.
Yeah, I love the shotguns, especially the rarer ones, and that's the exact skin I use. So Knack has already won my heart at the very beginning of the game. Of course, it is the moneymaker. Got a couple of M4s to back it up, and it looks like he's going to have a few players coming his way at least. This is a buy from the T side. They haven't gone for much head armor, so they can get the nades, and here goes the auto shotty. 1,800 made straight into the bank account. Will be Nyon making his money back in this round, and already Yell is going to grab another one with the SMG, possibly looking for him to get the AWP later in the game. Wrath almost taking him down. The Phantom will do the damage, but it's not going to be quite enough as they do win the round and retrieve the M4. And, well, back to the name sort of things. Aren't you sponsored by Kellogg's?
That was really original. I mean, maybe Kellogg's, if you're out there, feel free to hook a man up. I hear cornflakes are pretty good. Like, my name was actually not inspired by that at all, but, you know.
Was it dandruff?
Jokes. Wow, that's just really just going straight up the shots.
I'm just sort of poking holes. I don't know.
Just got to poke holes in where the holes apparently exist. But moving away from branding, trying to really just
moving away from shots.
Moving away from shots, just trying to go back to where there are no shots. If only Counter-Strike didn't involve guns. Unfortunately, there are a lot of shots. It's going to be the UMP, just mowing them down one by one. Yell, making some great stuff. Ward finds himself 2, turns around, finds 3. Knack and Destiny picking up one of their own. That'll be a nice mow down coming in for LG. They've made themselves, well, a pretty sporadic amount of money, but they're not going to be complaining. $7,800 in the bank of Yell. He's, some would say, screaming about that one. And of course, on the Knack side of things, not too much, but
okay, that's the level we're going for. I'm surprised we haven't actually seen the AWP come out just yet, which would have been the big advantage that Luminosity could be getting from the monetary position they have, but decided just to swap the SMG. Yeah, we'll keep the M4 in play, possibly because he's going for the longer range duels over towards middle. But we do now have the AKs. Of course, this is what we normally call a bonus round. CT side trying to make some extra money, and, well, Yell's even going to find the first frag, toasting Imp.
Nice way for that one to unfold. They're going to be looking for just one more. If they can get it down to a 5 versus 3, the odds will almost definitely be stacked in their favor. So we do look to see what Tectonic can pull off in this round. They've got those 4 rifles. They have a relative amount of utility, mostly looking at Phantom. He's the only one holding those flashbangs and smokes. Of course, certainly is potential. The push will just begin to creep around. Wrath going to be looking for a close frag. We'll find it. Takes down PKL. And I bet he's looking for on his own, looking for the trade, but Destiny's actually going to be the one to do it. Pulls a frag on towards Zek. Quinn trading things straight back, so we're going to be keeping things in that 3 versus 3 scenario. But even then, it seems to be just kind of going awry as Phantom now going to find one of his own, taking down Knack.
Yeah, Bomb yet to really move. They do have a player in the Palace, and Bit will manage to grab one back, so will Yell, and this is quickly traded into an advantageous position. Phantom will manage one, but Yell is in the perfect position to get a trade. Second triple kill in a row for him. Going to grab an AK, and now we may see that AWP come back into play. If he drops that over, could pick that up. Of course, the AWP very much viable on this map, but you never know. Just going to wait and see for that one. And in fact, there we go. So it is going to be Knack with the auto shotgun. once again, trying to make himself some extra money. And in terms of the T side, just a little bit of armor with some pistols.
And certainly something for them to work with. So we've seen pistols in the past do the damage. But even then, in the grand scheme of things, looks like it might be just a pretty bleak future. As they are going to be heading towards their B. That's where their targets are set towards. Not too much going to be taking place just yet. They're creeping their way up through ramps. And on the LG side of things, well, PKL and Bit, they'll be the two men to try and hold this one off, find the quick spray downs, find the frags. But there's going to be no aggression coming out from LG at all, so it's very much just a let's hunker down in the corner, wait and see what comes. We've got the utility, we've got the Molotovs. And once that flash does originally come out from the Tectonic side, that's where they will get the bite. The Molotov will go down, they are going to be burning away as they will be jumping out. Bit will find one, PKL going to find another, spray downs rolling in, Destiny picking up one of his own. Well, Imp, he did find one with a pistol, but even then, the damage, it's not going to be enough. And ultimately only one frag rolling in for the Tectonic side.
Yeah, the main aim was, of course, to try and get that bomb down and a little bit of extra cash and have some sort of more utility, possibly allowing Zek to get some across the board. But we are now going to see an AWP on either side. Knack playing up close may be able to keep that auto shotty in game. It's a little bit of a risk, but if he hits a close range shot, it should do the damage anyway. Looking towards that T-sided AWP, and actually it's going to be Destiny playing the mid window at the moment. This does mean that the AWP is taking a more rotation-based push, still taking a peek towards middle, but it's going to be over towards the connector position, and they actually have a secondary ult on short as well, so really trying to take over this mid presence at the moment. T's have the same idea. Knack going to grab one and switch out for an AK, so that's a nice upgrade in terms of his round, and already we see a man advantage over towards the Brazilian side.
Can't knock LG at all so far. They're bringing something nice to the table. Can they repeat some of the success? It seems so. A quick headshot rolling in. PKL going to be the man to find that one. Looks like, well, we're going to see him try and find something. Well, this team may win. Quick to fall. Weaker by the moment. As also, it's going to be Phantom and Wrath out of the round. So that's 5 versus 2. The no-scope will roll in. The Zek come in with a huge shot. Brings it back somewhat for them to try and find something here. As now Nompom going for one of his own. But Destiny going to be the man to punish him. Well, this one, you have to say, unless he can go absolutely huge with this AWP, faith certainly doesn't exist.
Yeah, the one thing they do have is the loss bonus, though, so we can talk about the idea of the value of damage, but before we can talk about the value of damage, Yell does the damage and takes the frag. So 6-0 already for the Luminosity side. This is always important because they build up the money. It looks like an early pause will come in, or a relatively early pause for Tectonic, because for me anyway, you have to look at this in terms of buy rounds, because the pistol rounds you shouldn't include on whether you're sort of going for that pause. I don't think there's any reason to actually do that. So, oh look, we lost 4 rounds in a row. If 3 of those are the pistol, that's meaningless. However, after losing 3 buy rounds, they've decided it is worth changing things up. Haven't had too many buys in that sort of sense so far, and haven't really seen any sort of like tactical play. It's mainly been the ability to try and take over mid, which very heavy mid presence from the Brazilian side, and I'm liking it so far. They're really shutting down a lot of avenues. Either way, at the moment, they're sort of going to be talking things over. One of the prospects will be whether they go for a buy in this round, and that is actually what they'll do. So it's unlikely we'll see an AWP, or not impossible that we'll see an AWP, but a very good start at the moment for the Brazilians. They've got plenty of cash to play with. If they are to lose the round, they should have at least 1, maybe even 2 buys, depending what they actually opt to purchase. Picked up a couple of AKs along the way, meaning they have that headshot potential, and, well, you look at the amount of AKs on the other side of things, they only actually have 1 more.
Of course, we are rolling into that 7th round. That technical pause, or tactical pause, should I say, has well, dwindled down to a time that is non-existent. As we're going to be looking to see what that will be bringing to the table. On the LG side of things, well, they're playing this one fairly the same. They haven't really changed up too much. They've got 1 more player over towards the A side, a little bit less mid-pressure. In fact, no mid-pressure at all. But yeah, he's already got the AWP towards that CT position, just rallying off a couple of shots, seeing whether he can bait a response, and he's going to do just that. Destiny now finding 1 frag, making it 2. Not going to find one of his own. Well, you were just saying moments ago, Tom, that Tectonic, they had a couple of rifles, some AK-47s. Well, now they just have 1 AK and 1 Galil.
Yeah, and this is a nice little crossfire that's been set up by the CT side. The 3 players playing in almost perfect harmony, and the real problem there was utility. The T's, for starters, didn't even get out. They barely even made it out onto ramp, and that really shows how quick the Brazilian side were to actually find those frags. But they didn't throw down any smokes or anything. That was mainly because they couldn't afford them. Because of that, they just got shut down so quickly that there was really nothing they could do. It was always this uphill struggle from that point on, and well, you look at the buy they've got now, they're back to just pistols again. Of course, max loss bonus, that's without question at the moment, 3,400, so you can sort of see that this is going for a little bit of a save to come back in the next round. Zek going for just a Tech 9 and a nade or so to try and get himself an AWP. And a little bit of early damage. Like, we always talk about the possibility of damage. No matter what round you're in, if you can drop 2, 3 players, 3 players the ideal, then you sort of have that position where you're forcing rebuys at least. If you let Luminosity get away with clean rounds, like they've already done so much with their buys so far, if you're just giving them also support, like monetary support, then they're just going to get more and more confident as they go along. That's always going to be a factor. And, well, from previous experience of Brazilian teams, you don't want to give them confidence.
The wonderful thing, just taking a look at the setup that LG are playing, is it's very segmented, very blocked off. You see a player like Knack comes in with a first frag, but then his teammate, Yell or Destiny, just there to pick up the flag, find the 3 frags and mow them down. Well, there we go, the first frag actually rolling in from Yell, but Knack doing the work of his own, finds 2 frags, filling that void, and well, he'll make 2 frags happen with the Tech 9. So he has done the damage. We were talking about 2 or 3 as kind of the benchmark aim, but he's still going to find himself in a 3 versus 1. And as you can see, it's been acutely highlighted, the bomb. Well, this trap's in the void of that A site. And there as well, a CT in sight in every single angle. Not too much for him to try and do. He does have the open play, so he's going to be looking to find one more pick, dropping them down to just 2 men standing. If he can do that, then I'd be pleased. I'd say a successful round, a lot of damage being done. Ultimately, won't have too much of an economy impact, but in terms of what they can save going into this round, it's a good start.
Well, I'd say for him especially, a frag and a save would be ideal, but even just a save is just as valuable, because they want to be buying back up an AWP anyway, so if he's dropped an AK, buys some head armor, that's an absolutely fine scenario. There's no way, well, we already know how much he makes. He makes himself 3,400. He saved a weapon worth 4,750 plus a Molotov and some Kevlar. There's not even a question in that scenario what he should be doing. So we are going to see that extra money put to good use. Nades will be in onto Zek, and well, although there will have to be a rebuy for him to throw over, it's still a much better scenario for them to be in going into this round. Either way, double up setup will survive. They're going to repurchase that, and still with a couple of AKs behind it, it's a pretty decent buy for the CTs, especially in terms of all the nades they have with them. We are going to see some aggressive pushes coming in, as again the T's are attempting to take over middle, and a much more passive hold on it this time from the CT side. They have a couple of players around that area, one on short, one in ladder, but other than that, it's mainly looking at Yell. He's trying to hold that cross if they are going to go over, but actually he's rotated all the way back, and you're going to see him go around the boxes. But now we see that push onto short. Aggressive push and quick frags. His crossfire working perfectly. Not even giving a chance. Their aim is absolutely phenomenal at this stage, and it only leaves 2 players left to try and fight this 9th round back.
This segmented play, just mixing in a bit of teamwork, changing things up. Well, Tectonic, they have been completely surprised. As well, they try to get up mid, it's failed. Now they're trying to get over towards the BFs, but it's going to fail. Bit, he's found himself 1, goes for the repeat, finds 2. Not a single shot being missed. Well, we're going to be witnessing the 9th round roll on the board for the Luminosity side. I've got to say, this is where Tectonic, realistically speaking, should start to get a little bit worried. Because Luminosity, they shouldn't be able to get any more rounds. We talk about Mirage being that kind of 10-5, 9-6. Well, they've got 9, they're going to be 1 away from making 10. Of course, Tectonic, thanks to that loss run, are still able to get something up in this round. Most notably the 3 rifles and well, the 2 Galils. It's still looking ridiculously rough.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it's getting to the point where Luminosity could just buy all the way to the very end of the game. Like, they have so much cash at this stage that even if they were to lose 3 rounds in a row, the loss bonus would build up, and you'd be looking at more buys coming in. But the problem is, I haven't even seen them come close to losing 1 round. Losing 3 rounds in a row seems nigh on impossible at this stage. Not seen anything really from the Tectonic side, and well, for the first time it's actually looking like the odds may actually be fairly realistic in terms of the team's abilities, as these LG players are just absolutely shutting down any sort of pushes. The best round I think we've actually seen was that Tech 9 round from him, so really scary stuff at this stage. Nade usage is really good, and what, even just the aim, that's what it's coming down to a lot of the time. Yes, they have nice positions, and the weaponry that they're holding at the moment is that you should be seeing on the T side, but they're just winning every individual aim duel, and if they're not, they've got the crossfires to set it up where the trade frag is just there. It's a really nice CT setup, but also you have to, no matter how good a CT setup is, you have to look at the T side and say they're just not good enough at this point at the moment, because no matter how good a CT side is, you should be able to get rounds.
Well, the easiest way to kind of encapsulate that into a kind of a proofful point is the fact that we've only really seen 1 or 2 multi-kills come in terms of the factor of imp with that Tech 9. Aside from that, every single round has been the same story. Luminosity, they either use that retake kind of passive setup to just push them into a crossfire and then just dwindle them down 1 by 1, or Tectonic. They give away very easy picks early on in the round, and they find themselves a minute into the round left with just 3 men standing, or even 2, just going, well, what can we do here? We can't play the trading game. We're already on a huge back foot. We have no utility left. We already have kind of that lesser foot when it comes down to rifles, and they're left just kind of wandering around dazed and confused.
Have we even seen a bomb plant? I'm not even sure we have. I don't know. They may have had one, but they haven't even been getting close. First frag will come in onto Imp, so that will be a player dropped over towards the A site, and now the smokes are going to be raining down, but they only have a couple. This will leave a lot of open positions for the CTs to actually rotate through. Luckily for the T's, though, they've actually chosen the sort of avenues that could give away some potential for them to actually bring this one back. Either way, PKL will be finding one. He's got a few players around him. Reloading slightly at the wrong time will mean we're able to grab an AK as well, and well, that's going to be another kill. These Deegs doing the damage. But it's going to be a trade back. Still a pretty close scenario here. Time is going to be ticking away. The one thing that the T's have on their side at the moment, although the man advantage is also with them. Just have to play passive in this scenario. Another frag will come in. Bit will manage to grab one back, but I don't think there's any chance for him in this round, even just sort of running around in the smoke looking for the bomb. Not going to be finding anything. Zek just playing up close. Will manage to do extra damage, which is, of course, valuable. And, well, even though they lost the round, I still have to feel Luminosity, they managed to drop every single player. All of their players are currently over 10k, which is crazy. And coming into the next round, if they win this, we're probably looking at a 14-1 half.
Well, that's really the bleak reality. It's kind of the thought process that was going through my head when Tectonic were doing well in that round was, you know, hold on, guys. You do realize if you win this, you're potentially, you know, not going to lose in such a drastic fashion. You're actually making it worse for yourself, because if they do drop this round, now they're not going to have anything to kind of back them up. There will be no loss bonus to help them out, and already we are going to see the first rank roll in. Going to be the man to find it. Takes down PKL, but Destiny, he finds the trade straight back, so it's going to be back to that 4 versus 4. Looking towards Knack, and this is the push barreling out towards his A-site. Tectonic, they found success in that last round, but Yell, he's going to be the man to hold this one off. The Gatekeeper coming into full effect. He finds 2 huge frags, shutting them down one by one. Zek, he's going to try and find the trade eventually, but you have to ask, is it just a little too late? As he's going to be going straight for the peak, but he's been spotted by Knack. The rifle shot's going to be just barreling down, not quite going to connect, but it's going to be enough of a distraction. Eventually the headshot will roll in, and Tectonic, they're left with just one player and one player alone. Phantom, he will find himself one frag, but Yell is going to be there to find himself another frag in that round, picking up 3. And some huge work being done. And let's just look at the Luminosity scoreboard. 17-2. 17-2. And then you have the support players, the pillars of Luminosity, just standing behind on 6-6, 10-4, 8-5.
Well, I think it's actually hard to say who the support players are at this circumstance, because every single player is doing their work. Every single player is fragging. And, well, anybody at the bottom of the board could just be the fact that they haven't had the right positions to actually grab the frags.
For me, it comes down to the style that Luminosity are bringing to the table. They've got these 2 players who are there to find their 3Ks, but they also have these players that consistently find themselves impact picks, opening up the scenarios for those players to go huge, because they are feeling it in this game, and we're going to see it again. Bit, he will open things up, finding a first impact frag. Kick things off. Tectonic, of course, they only have the pistols in this round. Well, but they're a side that's dwindling in a huge way.
I think the other thing to mention is the 2 players currently bottom of the board for Luminosity are playing the B side. Which really just proves that the only frags that they're getting are on rotations, which are obviously much more difficult anyway. So it's more just the fact that they're not going B, so they haven't had a chance. And we'll see in this round. You never know. Maybe they'll fall, and it will just be one of those positions where you're saying, okay, maybe it's not that they're on this side, but, well, PKL is actually going to drop. Nice work from Bit so far. Needs to do a little bit more, I feel. Doesn't want to allow them to get the bomb down, but it is going to be Imp again. He's going to find the frags, and he's the only one actually turning up at the moment. He quickly gets traded out. Destiny, Yell, and Knack now going to be rotating back in, and Destiny's position is going to make this round basically impossible. Phantom going to do some work with the AWP. May grab the second, but doesn't quite manage to hit the frag. Needs to get this one. Now it's possible, but Destiny is too quick to trade. Will pick up the AWP, and that's going to be a 12-1 scenario here. Buy will be possible, but not a good one.
I'm not sure what there is to say. This is what seems like an open and shut book, a 12-1 scoreline. We're going into our 14th round. Once again, it's going to be the double up setup of Luminosity. No worries at all from them on an eternal perspective. They are just living the millionaire's dream. On the Tectonic side of things, well, they're still left with a very bleak outcome. They're going to try and make use of the rifles. They have got something going into this round. But Destiny, he's going to be the first man to find a frag, take Phantom down. Already they're on the back foot, but can they find anything? Will they be able to find those close range frags, get themselves onto a site, just using the brute force technique? That's going to be the question as the smoke will roll out towards mid. A couple of flashes to see if they can bait a further response from Tectonic. And that's the one thing for me, this T side. they've fallen so prone to the bait of Luminosity. Just a couple of flashes means they decide to go for the overfaces, they decide to go for the aggressive peeks. And Yell, he's going to go straight for that, finds one, going for the repeat, doesn't quite connect the second shot, but it's just so much damage being done. It's now Destiny's going to be wrapping him from behind, demolishing this boost, finds the first frag, and his teammate is there to find a second. And LG, they're going to find themselves moving up on that scoreboard, bringing it back to that 13-1. And that 14-1 you mentioned, well, it's becoming a harsh reality for Tectonic.
Yeah, the real problem at the moment is their economy did get wrecked. They weren't able to streak anything together. If they had got it back to 5, then we would have said, yeah, you know what? They've actually shown us that they could do something in this game. They've shown us that clearly it was just a poor start and they allowed Luminosity to get rolling. But it hasn't been that way at all. Are going to finally see some sort of smoke setup. I think the last time they tried this, they only had 2 smokes, but actually managed to pull it off. So looking to see whether or not it'll work this time. Smoke going to be thrown in to block off the connector, and it looks like the stair smoke may have actually missed in this scenario, meaning that there's going to be a quick open shot. Very easy for them to actually lose their lives in this scenario. Yell going to jump up, find a nice kill, but look how open this is for Destiny. Just not having a stair smoke means this is so open and so easy.
I just want to talk about the fact that Destiny there, when he found that first frag, he was fully blind. That's how confident he was. He went straight for the pre-fire.
Well, you know, when you have a 12.5 KD, you do normally feel pretty confident. I'm not really sure what else we can really say. 25-2, that may be one of the most ridiculous halves I've ever seen from a player. I think the only one who may be able to top that is WorldEdit. When I think he got something redonkulous in a first half. I think he may hold the record as well. But yeah, that's a very impressive first half score. Also the fact that I think WorldEdit was playing in a game that was actually close. Either way, we are going to see a bit of an early B stack coming out from the Tectonic side of things. More of a retake scenario. They've got 2 Molotovs ready for that retake, so interesting strategy. I'm not sure whether or not it will work. The bomb yet to really be decided where it is going so far. Bit going to be looking for the shot, not quite finding it, and well, a little bit risky for him. Going to try and go for the nade. Wrath in the meantime has managed to grab 2 kills though, and it's looking like this pistol round at least could be going the way of Tectonic. They still have 3 more players to deal with. None of them actually, well, one of them alone has Kevlar, but doesn't look like it's going to be making too much of a difference here unless he can find an absolute ridiculous amount of kills, and Wrath is going to add a 3rd to his list.
For me, that round is the equivalent of a small fish in a very large pond. It doesn't feel, you know, like it's going to be doing too much. They might have got the pissed round. Now they should be able to build off of this. But I also can't stand here and go, Luminosity, they're a team that, well, they're going to go for that 4-sub, and I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow make this work, because they've done it before. This scoreline certainly reflects the feeling confident. I don't know if I'm feeling it at this point for Tectonic.
Well, you say they've done it before, but I think they've had money all the way through the game. I don't think they've had pistols at all. They won the pistol and only lost 1 round all the way through the half. So, yeah, they may have done it before, not in this game.
Yeah, that was kind of the point.
Absolutely insane already. Destiny going to be adding more kills to his fragging list. Picks up an MP9, wins a long-range duel. The Famis may be there to retake, but I think most of us will be on the side of Luminosity, even though they're in the weaker scenario here. Not many nades either for that CT side to actually try and retake this one. Do have a kit, but already there's going to be a quick trade. More coming out for Destiny. Absolutely ridiculous at this stage, just destroying his opposition. Why not get a quad kill and only take, what, 33 damage against a buy? What on earth is going on? He must just be sat at home laughing at this stage. 29-3.
I don't know what there is to say. He's just dominating every single one of those players on the Tectonic side. The LF going, guys, what is going on? What are they doing? They're free-firing us, they're one-tapping us, they're destroying us in every single angle we peek. They know everything we're doing. Well, they haven't seen that push roll in. It's going to be the Max 7 finding itself a frag. They're going to be trying to find something, but now they are going to be barreling straight out on towards this B site. Luminosity, they found themselves an opportunity. And one of those pistols, it's going to be well and truly riding on their shoulders. 5-7s. Well, now just 1 5-7. There is no plural there, and soon to be 0. As Luminosity, they're going to take the first map, 16-2.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you weren't expecting too much analysis off the basis of this game, because all I can really say is they won the pistol and 1 buy round over on the first half. There's really nothing to actually analyze. We will be coming back shortly with a second map, but anything you want to add, Ryan?
Outplayed, outbrained, out-researched.
I don't
Not that it
think
was
there
really
was any
needed, to be
research.
honest. I don't think they really needed to do anything at all. They could have looked at some ESEA Premier results, but ultimately it doesn't look like it really had too big of an impact. And
Well, you say out-aimed, outbrained. I think the only real word we can use is outclassed. Anyway,
yeah.
we will be back with map number 2. Hopefully we can see a little bit of a turnaround, but we will see you shortly.